What is up, Alphas? Welcome to our next Alpha interview. And we're really excited for this one in particular because we're showcasing Tina from Riverwood Forest. And the reason that we're excited is we have watched Tina's evolution just over the last few, has it been months or years?
I started in 2017, but I think I signed up for you guys a year later. So it's been, or I could be wrong. It just feels like I've been with you guys for so long. I don't know. You've been around for so long in every live stream. You were in some of our Twitch streams as well, weren't you? I wasn't, because I'm not in Twitch yet.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason I had seen your name in there, but you've popped into the community, like everywhere that we are, you have put yourself as well. And what I really like about your brand is when we've done shop critiques with you, it's like every little suggestion that we're like, hey, you could try this. Like you've been like, yep, on it. And then the next time we see it, you've done it. Like your shop is so polished and so great. So, do you want to tell the Alphas what it is that you sell and what your business is all about?
So originally it was supposed to be about outdoor nature lovers who love to hike, who love to travel, who, if anybody knows United by Blue, the brand, I pretty much wanted to be like them. So I was really adamant to make sure that my stuff was eco-friendly, it was animal-friendly, it was all the good stuff, and which I still do. But I've noticed, I didn't know what cottagecore was until somebody developed the word for it. So that really helped me find my niche because that's who I am as a person. And like, it was just so much easier. And I was talking about this to a friend the other day too, because he's like developing his photography business in the same direction I am with my illustration. I ended up kind of going towards the direction of just appreciating nature, not so much like, I want this mountain graphic. I want this. It's everywhere on Etsy, and it's very graphic, which I like. I was attracted to it, but it's not me. It's not my artwork. So I find it easier to just develop things like that are more me, but still have that background in like that's kind of aesthetic in some way. And the whole overall mission, like eventually I want to do like, when I sell stuff, I want to do cleanups. Like I want to do shoreline cleanups. I want to do all that kind of stuff. So I'm like all into that, but I'm nowhere near that point yet. So right now I'm just working with rabbit rescues. That's my give back with everything. But so many bunny alphas. We had Leanne who does her seeds and bunny poo fertilizer. And then you immediately jumped in the comments on her interview and you were like, yeah, bunny mamas. So lots of bunny alphas. So obviously you have a very unique art style. Right when I go in your shop, everything looks super cohesive. You can immediately like nail down the style. And I'm glad that you touched on what you originally like wanted to do versus where it went, because I think that where it went is much more unique than what you originally planned to do. So what made you decide to join HAA? I know good coaching when I see it. I've worked with really good professors who, one of them was one of the illustrators of Curious George. So
awesome.
Cool. I mean, I originally wanted to go with children's book, and that was my thing for a while. And before that, I wanted to be an animator, but that was one job for me. And I have like too many things that I want to do for it to be just animation. So I ended up doing illustration, and I've been through all that stuff, and I've gotten to meet a lot of really great professors, and I've seen like a pattern, and you kind of had that. So I wanted to hop in with you. And I also knew that you guys would be really genuine about it, because like going through art school and going through critiques and stuff like that, that's how I learned to do what I do professionally. You perfect it with it. You kind of, even though you're connected to your artwork, you kind of disassociate just a little bit, just so you're open to change. And it's always for the better, I've seen. So like that was a hard thing for me in high school to figure out, but I had to open myself up to that. And once I did, like, I watched my own artwork evolve, and a lot of artists aren't like happy with their artwork. They're very shy about sharing it and everything. But I haven't been because of that, because people are constantly helping me to be better. And with your suggestions and your videos and things like that, you guys were on point with that every single time. So that's why I'm like, you see something I don't, and I'm going to change it right away because of that. Because sometimes you need like the person in the critique room, in the art room, just to say like, oh, you missed this, and I thrive on that. So that's why I joined you guys, because you're awesome and genuine.
That's awesome.
That's really awesome.
Which is good.
You said you've been around since 2017, so you've been in the Etsy game for a little while. So you've probably done quite a bit. What do you think the proudest thing you've done with your business so far is, or your biggest accomplishment?
Just doing it.
Awesome.
I mean, I went from working with Lenox China as a corporate designer, designing Kate Spade, Disney, everything like that. And like that, where is it? That bowl right there.
Oh, awesome.
That is actually in the Vatican right now. This is the mock-up.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
I mean, that feels like another life, though. It's very bizarre. Like, I've been through all that. And like, corporate like Boscov's and places like that who bought stuff like Lenox, they were slowing down, and they were kind of like getting rid of people that weren't there as long. And like right before they laid me off, I was just like, I could be doing my own stuff. I could be like helping the environment. I could be looking for like products, like put my stuff on, my own stuff. And like 2 weeks later, I was laid off. So I took that as a sign. And I always wanted to have an Etsy shop. Like I already kind of did. I was selling art prints at the time, but I was so scared of shipping myself. Like I never liked that, which, as you guys know, I'm an all print on demand shop. So that anxiety lifted very quickly. I was always worried about pricing things wrong, everything like that. So I'm so glad that I've print on demand as a thing. And I work with different types of companies too that are able to help me offer different products as well, that are unique, that aren't just Bella canvas, that aren't just sweatpants and things like that. So I try to be unique also in that sense. And I just built my shop up on that and never looked back.
That's awesome. And what I love so far is everything that I'm hearing is about evolving, where your plan doesn't always it doesn't always go the way that you thought it was. And that's like that Mike Tyson quote that I have in AHAA, where everybody has a plan until I punch them in the mouth. And that's like one of my favorite business quotes, because you always have a plan, but everything changes. And I think that one of the biggest problems I see in the handmade industry is that people tend to get so married to the original idea that the second that they need to pivot, they just give up and walk away. Do you have, you obviously have a connection with that adaptability just because you started at a very young age when you were, in school, having to adapt and take criticism. Do you have any advice for sellers who might struggle with that? Maybe they're a little bit older and they got into this industry, before they were at that influential stage?
Don't take it personally. That is huge. Like, you can have something that you created that you love, but just isn't sellable. And that's okay to have that. And it's okay. You have to learn to kind of accept that, because different trends happen, and like different generations, like different things. So it might not be for your audience. And that's not necessarily, it doesn't mean that your artwork is bad. And like once in a while, that little insecure artist that still sometimes exists, pops into my head, but I immediately shut it down. And I'm like, this isn't true. That's dumb. Because I know what I know now. And it's harder for people. I'm 33. I grew up with the internet, like MySpace and stuff like that. And it's which, by the way, Space Hey is like the old MySpace. Check that out if you really like MySpace. It's really cool. But yeah, like I grew up with that, and it's just, you kind of need to open yourself up to people to be able to like connect with them in a personal way. And you do that with your artwork too. Like you need to engage with people and then see, like you find your people and you see which ones resonate with you, and some people won't resonate with you, and that's fine. And that doesn't mean, like, people who are criticizing your artwork, that doesn't mean like those people are criticizing your artwork, doesn't mean that your stuff's bad. It's just the wrong audience. And you can either find that audience yourself, or you can find something else that you resonate with and then just flow into that genre. Like for me, I grew up in a house that loves Halloween, and you guys saw my Halloween plates. So like something like that, like I'm obviously not gothy at all, but like I resonate with that group so much because I love the horror films, because I love all that stuff. And I understand it. And that's fine to have like the fairy, butterfly, bunny loving me and then bleed into that. And it's okay. Just be open to it. And just kind of like feel it out yourself and trust your gut on that. And you can't go wrong. And try to think with this, not this. That's what it really comes down to.
I love that. That's such good advice, because like with my jewelry business, I thought that when I launched it back when I was like 19 years old, I assumed that I was going to be selling to like, college kids and goth kids. And it ended up being like pagan women ages like 45 to 65. And I'm like, I don't know anything about paganism. But I wanted to learn. Like I'm like, okay, this is what my audience is. It's time to learn, and it's time to adapt my marketing in a way that really appeals to that demographic.
Yeah, and on criticism, you were talking about criticism, and any criticism, good or bad, is an opportunity for growth, right? Absolutely. It's an opportunity for you to learn either that your audience isn't who you thought they were, or that maybe you're not doing something that you could be doing for the audience that wants you to do it. So, yeah.
And sales and no sales are the same way. Winning and losing is the same way. Everything is a lesson, and you have to take it as a lesson. You can't take it as like, oh, well, I'm not good enough, I'm just not going to do this anymore. Like you're not learning a lesson in saying that and doing that. You just need to figure out a way around it and then push through it. And then once you do, good things can happen, because you're fearless at that point. You don't let anything push you down. And fear is like your worst enemy. And that's what, here's a great story. Right after Lenox, about 4 months after I was employed, like I was shooting out cover letters because that's what I thought I had to do, 9 to 5, my parents pressuring me into that stuff because that's what they were comfortable in. And I got this job down near the Philly stadiums, and it was kind of an iffy drive to go on the highway every single day. I never actually took it. It would have been like, I would have moved out of my parents' house. I would have gotten great health insurance. I would have gotten everything amazing. But something in me was like, I'm going to be designing paper and plastic products.
Yeah.
And everything that I believed in after I wanted to start my Etsy shop, I wanted to like follow the business model of United by Blue and people like that. I was just like, oh no. Like I talked to my friends about it. I talked to my family members about it. They're all like, take the job. You can change it within the industry. I'm like, no, I can't. They're huge. They're bigger than me. So it's really funny because I was 99% sure I had the job because the lady was talking me up. I went in for 2 interviews. Like it was set. And I typed her an email and declining the job. And I stood there looking at it for 2 hours because I was scared to death to decline such a stable job. And I literally passed out. and I woke up seeing that the message sent. I must have hit it.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, okay, thanks universe for doing that for me.
That was the nudge you needed.
It was just like, it wasn't me. Like that was meant to happen. But that like, as soon as I realized that though, all the weight lifted off me. I knew I did the right thing. And ever since then, I've been investing into myself, and regardless of like any little fears compared to that I had, it was nothing compared to that. So take that jump and like invest in yourself, and fortune favors the bold. Put all that stuff in your head because it's true. And I keep like this year, I had this lady I met during the pandemic. She was she has an art shop that individual artists have that are all eco-friendly, that are all like vegan and everything like that. And she ended up closing that shop, but she was an artist herself and she had the money. And she sees everybody that she wants to help individual artists. And I just ran into her because I was hanging out with my mom. And now she's helping me get wholesale stuff. I'm going to horse shows selling my stuff in person, which I've never done before. So like I got a children's book the same way. I was walking into a parking lot outside a thrift shop, and I commented on this guy's like coloring book or something that he had in his bag, because I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. It looks like album art. And he's like, oh, this was like a Bible Christian thing, stained glass. I'm like, oh, well, that's still cool. But we got to talking, and I ended up doing his children's books for him. Oh. So it's just, you need to be open to just observing people and commenting on people, because you never know where those relationships happen. And like years later with the lady I was telling you about, like she hit me up and now we're actually working together. So things like that, just opening yourself up to that and allowing stuff like that to come into your life. And even if it doesn't seem like it's going to, it might later on. So that's something really big, and like another fearless approach that you have to take to just being in this kind of business. And that's like a retail thing too. Like you kind of have to sell yourself a little bit in that way. But if you do it like that and show interest in the people that you're talking to, and you show them what you have to offer, then they might be interested in what you have to offer too. So little things like that. Just get over that fear, because that opens so many doors for you. And it's like, don't hold yourself back. That's all just the insecure stuff that it's just unnecessary. You don't need it. And I know that's a hard thing to get over, but you don't need it.
You've had the best like pep talk interview I think that we've had. Like by the time the alphas are done watching this, they're gonna be like, "Yes, let's do
it." You got to rip the bras off and wave them around. Like
exactly. So we've asked everybody at the end of 20 minutes flies freaking by on these things, but
not enough for me.
No, that's I know, right? I wish that you would have. We should have put you on like the end rather than having you come on first, because we could have like talked longer. But we've asked everybody at the end of their interview, if you were talking to somebody who is interested in joining HAA, based on your experiences of going through the program, what would you tell somebody who is nervous to take that big step?
So having been through art school and having studied marketing professionally and having a degree in it, it's funny because like you're helping me, but I have that degree. and it's sometimes you need somebody else to tell you what to do with your own shop. Like I can design stuff for other people easily because I know how to do it, but I can't do it for myself. And like you knocked out of the park, like the color theory, just the psychology of everything, the way, pretty much everything I learned in art school for my own stuff. And you're saving, I graduated with $130,000 in debt. So Woo! You're saving a lot of money by taking this class, and not just for marketing stuff, for just business too, just basic business stuff that you need to learn in this industry. And you're very cutthroat about it, and it's very straightforward and easy to follow. And I personally am not through it yet. I think I'm on module 6 at the end of it, but I'm taking my time and absorbing every video and applying it to both my shops, because I have 2 shops, and that I'm seeing the results. It's a slow process, but it's a sure process. And that is what HAA has given me, and it's helped a lot. So thank you guys. Your hard work's paid off for me.
That was so great. That was so great. Guys, all of Tina's links are going to be down below in the video description. Make sure that you go and pay her a visit. And Tina, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for giving the alphas a pep talk. I think they're really, really going to enjoy watching this one.
I hope so. I hope that you guys get over your fears, because it really does hold you back. Everything's going to be okay at the end of the day. So there's nothing really to be scared about.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.